that any good at that table.
All right, I'm going to reiterate. What? Got it? Yeah. Give you all a kiss. All right. I'm going to reiterate a little bit. I'm Michelle O'Keefe, one of Mr. Saab's black belts. I'd like to welcome and thank everyone for joining us on this very special day for a very special man. Grandmaster Saviano has devoted 50 years to the martial arts, and in that 50 years has touched so many lives. You agree? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and noses. Yeah, I don't leave out anything. He has touched them in so many different ways all over the world, including his family he loves so dearly, his friends, his black belts, and his students. I'll make this short because you will see all of Master Saviano's accomplishments later on in the presentation coming up. We will hear from other speakers. I would like to end with a short message from a good friend who couldn't make it. I'm not telling you who until we're done, and you're going to guess. All right, message to Grandmaster Saviano. I first met Grandmaster Saviano in this life. Got that? In this life, in the early winter of 1981. And I knew we had met before. Got that? I later realized we had been friends and brothers in arms in many past lives. Is that not so cool? I was very impressed with his incredible speed, which we all know, right? Yeah. Incredible bullet speed. Great confidence, we all know that. And intelligence, which all combine to be fighting excellence, right? Got that? You with me? Yes. All right, not bored, are you? Nope. All right. He is the only one I've ever known who could have continued the legacy of Grandmaster McSweeney. Right. This person also says, I don't mind him always being born faster, a better teacher in martial arts than me, but just once I would really like to be born better looking than him. He also says the sad thing is, when I had my wife type this out for me, she didn't disagree. Now, Grandmaster Saab, who do you think this was?
Could be any one of a bunch of ugly guys.
This fellow lives in Arizona and he couldn't make it. He tried so hard. You know who it is? Raymond Corda, yes! Master Corda, who lives in Arizona, tried his darndest to get here. But he had a death in the family, couldn't make it. We'll get to that later. And he is an 8th black belt. So, on behalf of your family, friends, black belts, and students, we wish you a heartfelt congratulations.
I want to block the camera.
Congratulations, Mr. Saab. I've learned a lot, and I've been with Mr. Saab for 22 years. And I think one of the most important things I've learned is balance. You know, we always try to make sure we're not in a clothesline stance or we use our elbows and knees. So a lot of things that I learned is this balance of life. And you've helped me in more ways than just martial arts in life, and I appreciate that. And I thank you for everything you've done, and hopefully we continue to work out as well as go to gun range. I've also been blessed that my son Tyler, who's also in the Saviano's class, is a team black belt, and my daughter Kelly is a junior black belt. So they appreciate what you've done for them, and I greatly appreciate that as well too. So thank you.
Fred. I've actually, 16 years ago, Mr. Saab, I walked in your office. I was 6 years old when I started at White Tiger Purple Production. 16 years ago, I sat in Mr. Saab's chair and I was just looking at his back wall, and if any of you have been in his office, he's got a lot of knives on the back of his wall. Now, at first, I didn't know what I was going to do because I was sitting there with my dad and I'm looking at his back wall and I'm really not sure what to make of it because he's got so many knives on his back wall. I wasn't sure if I should run out of there screaming or if I should sit and see what he had to say. So, 16 years later, I sat, heard what he had to say, and I got to train with some of the masters in Ireland that he got me in touch with. And I, to this day, I just cannot thank him enough for everything he's done for me. Thank you, sir.
So as long as I don't speak after resign. Last time rules. Well, I hadn't planned on speaking tonight. A little closer. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
For those who don't know me, I'm Chris Hagan. I've been training with Master Saviano for 20 years now. I started when I was 17 years old and about 140 pounds, give or take.
Look like a giraffe.
That's right. I remember I got my orange belt. I thought I was the baddest thing on the planet because I was an orange belt in karate. And again, I was about 150 pounds, but I've learned so much from Master Saviano. I've gone to several different schools throughout my 20 years in martial arts, and when I was younger, I would just think, that guy sucks. That guy sucks. This one sucks. Everybody sucks. With the exception of very few schools that some of the masters like Mr. Saviano knows, I got trained some of their students, but I was down in Ohio, and finally I figured out I was in a superior school. I was very lucky to find Master Saviano, who was just an amazing fighter, just really great guy, and he's influenced me almost as much as my father has. Boss, I love you, and thank you for giving me 20 years of my life and taking me out of your way.
Like everybody else, I didn't know I was going to be speaking today. I started martial arts in 1981, and I found Mr. Saviano in 1991. When I walked into the school, I looked at the school, there were holes in the walls, there's blood on the ceiling, and I thought, I think I like this place. Well, he told me to come on down, try a class, and 23 years later, we're still together. And Michelle made a great point that he has touched many lives. He's touched me in many ways, but usually get some ice and the touch out. You're all right.
1981? He's 33 years, really.
1981 is when I started martial arts. 1991 is when I met Mr. Silver. Yeah, 23 years. Yes. 23 years. I was 26 years old. Okay, now I'm 32, but I don't know. I'm not sure how that worked out. But anyways, I do want to thank Mr. Saab for a great 23 years. I've trained with a lot of people. Before I met him, after I met him, and I always felt great coming back to the school because that was always my home. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I'm not going to bore you, so
when I was a little kid, I was so tiny that if I turned sideways and stuck out my tongue, I looked like a zipper. I started with a guy down in a little town in Peanut, Illinois, and he started me in the jiu-jitsu group, and I was with him for 7 years, and learned that a little guy could defend himself. Carried that into sports, got my scholarship, did all that kind of stuff, and went on. Had my first child, Zachary, and started. Zach sitting on the couch with his mom, my second son is born, and says, I know Dad likes Matt better because Matt likes sports. I looked at Zach and I said, what do you want to do? He said, "To take karate." Now, in between there, I had spent 7 years with a man by the name of Yuki Mura. And I got to meet Saviano when he came to America very few times. Elderly gentleman, just wow. It took me 2 years to find out martial arts instructor I trusted. Master Saviano. Started out with him, both boys went with him. I never had to worry about my boys because he created, along with my wife and I, 2 young gentlemen who are very successful in their lives. It's fun for me to go see his grandson play football, and I'm going to continue that when we met at Addison Trail. And so I was with Zach, and Zach said, Mr. Saab called Dad's out onto the floor for something, and Mr. Saab said, you train? I said, yeah, a little bit. And I was hooked, and I've been with him ever since. I think more than anything, forget all the martial arts, is, along with my dad, Master Saviano taught me to be a gentleman. And that's more important to me than anything. You can go to karate schools anywhere. And martial arts is only as good as the instructor. Good instructor's jerk. And his students are going to be a jerk. And my kids, this school is a touchy class. It creates family. Jeff and I and Zoran and all of us, we started out, we look across and there's Anthony and Mike now and all those guys sitting there looking at us, who are these guys?
The original yard road.
Yeah, the original York Road, and Zoran's right, the blood in the ceilings, the holes in the walls, and all that kind of stuff. I am very proud. It's something I will take to my grave. My son, who is vice president of one of the largest companies in the country, on his college resume, one of the things he was most proud of was his black belt. Mr. Saab brought in John McSweeney from Florida to see him get a brown belt test, which was an adult brown. I saw him fly through a wall. And he says, no, you will teach. So I would stay out of there. And it was something that Zach remembers to this day. And you know, every Kenpo black belt is a form unto himself. Zach is beautiful and still does it. Matt, my youngest, is a ground and pounder. He's going to take you to the ground and whatever. But they have enlarged my family to something that I can't ever pass up. So I thank you, sir. I thank all my brothers.
Is there anybody in this room who has not punched me in the face? I protest when I didn't hear stop. As I so often do not, you tackled me off of those guys. That was a punch in the face. Everybody else seems to remember. So, anyways, I'm Derek Manis. I met Mr. Sav in about 1976. Nick and I played flag football for the Packers. Flash forward to about 1984. We ran cross country together. We found each other in high school again. And I wanted to join some other karate, and I was in Chong. So anyways, Nick's like, you know, you gotta come over to the house, meet my dad. And we did. After we ran about 11 or 13 miles that day, showed up exhausted, we had juice.
And Mrs. Sav, thank you. Kindly let me finish my juice before going down. Nick's like, Dad, he's got a hook kick. He's got a spinning hook kick. Mr. Sav's like, okay, let me see him. So I line up, and Mr. Sav's like, do your kick. I look at Nick, and Nick's like, I swung, the next thing you know, my face was against the wall. That's when I was hooked right there. Okay. So that's the first time I met him there, and I was only 15. So we found a way over to Master McSweeney's, and I couldn't drive, and Nick and I would run cross country, and Mr. Sav would drive to Anderson Shaw High School and pick me up on the stairs after gymnastics, after cross country, until I turned 16, and drive with me to study in the same line under Master McSweeney. I was a white belt, he was a black belt, so I got to line up with Mr. Sav. And it's one of the greatest times of my life. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. Well, several meetings later, and then years later, I got to go back to what happened after we studied down the Old York Road. I was pretty much caught because I couldn't drive home, so we went to Arby's. Master McSweeney, Master Cord, Master Crisolo, Master Saviano, and myself, 15-year-old boys sitting at the table at Arby's till 2 in the morning. Holding the plates down, doing my homework, listening, learning, until they had enough, and they taught me life lessons that I'll never forget. And one is how to be a gentleman. And he taught me that you don't be a gentleman because I'm making you, but because it's the right thing to do. And in the beginning, I was afraid if a lady came by and I did not open the door for her, he was going to pop out. After a while, I learned that this is the right thing to do. So, the life lessons I learned alone at that table, forget all the meetings, because there was many. Each way, both ways. More than not, I woke up a couple times on the ground, or I would leave class and come the next time after John Smith knocked me out, and I didn't remember leaving that day. And I remember him saying, what happened? I'm like, what do you mean, sir? And he's like, you got up off the floor, you looked all your gear, and you just went home. I was forced to leave. So,
that's what we do everywhere we go. I'd like to start out, Mr. Saviano, I love you. I stood up at my wedding. This entire family, personal family, I love all you guys. Thanks, buddy. We're not going to the basement. All my brothers here, my towers of power, who have punched me, and my sisters, who have punched me repeatedly. Kelly, when I had to stand there like this, and you kicked me 6 times in the brain. Chuck Norris. Anthony, who punched me in the face repeatedly. Mike Calamita, who's kicked me in the face repeatedly. Al Pancilla, who just beating the tar out of me. Tony, constantly kicking me, punching me. All those beatings and everything, the blood on the ceilings, everything, I truly enjoyed, and it's one of the best times of my entire life, and I love you guys. 2 stories I got to tell you. One, Mr. Saviano actually called me 3 days ago, and he must have been at 7-Eleven or something, and he said, Jeffrey, he goes, where did all these damn candy bars come from? You used to like one candy bar, you ate it, you loved it, and that's the candy bar you ate. And I said, hey, boss, you never hear how candy bars were created? He said, no. I go, you've never heard the birth of a candy bar? And he said, no. I said, well, boss, one day Mr. Goodbar, he wanted a bit of honey. So he took Mrs. Hershey behind the powerhouse on 5th Avenue. He went after Reese cups and started feeling her mounds. And it was pure almond joy. She let out a Snickers as his butterfingers went up her Milky Way. She screamed, oh, Henry! As she squeezed Chucky. And that's how he got a on Baby Ruth. Now, on the more true side, I got to tell you a little bit about part of the greatest part of my life was doing the ultimate stuff with Keith Hackney and the Boss. And I guess got to tell you about something that I wish I had on film, because if we would have won every contest for greatest videos in the world. But Keith and I and Mr. Sav were in Colorado, and Keith is doing his SEAL stuff, going back and forth in the pool about 30,000 times. I'm in the hot tub trying to recover because my body hurts so much. And the Boss here goes across the whole pool, and he gets these big, fluffy towels. These big, fluffy towels. They're like this big. And
You signed that paper, sir.
if I was carrying 4 or 5 of these towels, they'd probably come to about here, but the Boss had them about here. And this pool is a pretty fancy pool, and it goes straight and then curves, and goes straight and curves. So here's the Boss walking down with these big towels. He's swimming back and forth. He looks at me in the hot tub, and he goes, yeah, look what I got. As he walks right off the end of the pool. Towels go up, Italian goes down. Absolutely one of the funniest things I've seen in my life. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But truthfully, guys, I love all you. I had the greatest time. I love being punched in the face. I love the blood. I love the whole thing. And I just really appreciate time with me and with you guys. And love you, Boss.
Hi, everybody. Hello, Robert. Hi, Roger. I met Mr. Sav July of 2001. And how I met him, I used to go by that school a lot, but the animals always kind of, you know. Anyhow, that's another. I went to the library. And I had this. All those martial arts animals. Anyway, I went to Edison Library one day before I went to his school. I'm looking up for Bruce Lee, and I saw this book that says, Who's Who in Martial Arts. I'm going through the book, I'm reading about Bruce Lee, and I said, okay, I'm going to go a little far. I found his name in it. Didn't know who he was. There was a full page, and every time I read it, very interested in a lot of history. So one day later, I go to Mr. Sav's school on 53. I walked in, and I said, I'd like some information. I'm thinking about going in and doing, you know, joining and all that. I've done Taekwondo before, karate, and I won't mention the other one. Yeah. and I'm sitting down at the desk in front of him. And we're talking. About 10 minutes later, I recognized the name. I said, I'm thinking to myself, this is the man in Who's Who of martial arts in front of me. I couldn't believe it. And he gave me the honor. Yes. Gave me the honor of a 6-week course to see if he likes me. And I said, of course I liked him. And he kept me there. And a lot of years. And you did a lot for me, and I can never pay you back. And with these two guys over here on my black class, Doran, and as I call Jeff Mr. Payne, because he proved it to me. And Mr. Cochran, I had a hard time defense-wise, and they said, if you keep hitting Robert, he'll do good. And they kept hitting me. Yeah. See, I remember part of it.
I don't know if it was true or not.
Not too good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come up here to say some nice words about Mr. Yeah. So anyways, one of the things that all the senior black belts have already said that I'll reiterate is that not only are you our teacher, but you also serve many other purposes. For some of us, you're a father figure, you're a friend, you're a confidant.
Who in the world do I follow all those guys? My God. You know, Tom, this is probably the safest room that I've ever been in my life. I hate to see somebody come in and try to rob us. Actually, we've known each other, I should have called Mr. Slaughter, I apologize. We've known each other for 30, 35 years. And, you know, it started when, remember Culberson, Larry Culberson, policeman in Chicago. A friend of mine, he says, Ron, he says, you really need to come and work out with us. And I said, what? He says, karate. Karate? Crap, that's a bunch of guys on motorcycles, isn't it? Or something like that. I said, no, this is really cool. He says, we work out, and we go out afterwards for drinks. I'm in. You know, we did. We worked out a lot, worked out very hard. 3-4 nights a week. In sales my whole life, I could barely get out of the car the next morning. My legs were so sore. But I learned a lot. And the thing that, you know, I don't have any stories or anything. Everything is so boring, you know. Boring. What I would like to say is that he's a great husband. He's a great father. He's a great friend, and he's part of all of our lives. And I'm proud to say he's my friend.
Thank you to reach here today. Great Mr. Degerberger's here. I count 4. Grandmaster Ty. Grandmaster Saviano, naturally. And everybody said, who's the 4th guy? Grandmaster McSweeney, who's up here smiling right now. We also have a 2-time national champion, Rico Payon. Rico. 1989, 25 years ago today, I came down to watch a sister of mine who was a victim. My youngest sister, I have 4 sisters, and she had been a victim, and she was taking a karate class. And there was a couple of styles that were out there that were a bunch of BS, and I wanted to make sure that this was a legit school. So I came down and I watched, and I saw an Irish guy who I witnessed break house bricks, and you know, I was like, wow, look at this guy. And then I see an Italian guy come down there, and he was moving faster than the guy. And I said, what a perfect fit. I'm Italian Irish. I joined the school. Guys like Ray Corda, Ron Hughes, Michael LaCalamita, Tony Laporte, El Panzica, these were the guys that really trained me and made me who I am. And I can count about, on one hand, the mentors that really made a difference in my life. And those are guys like my father, you know, my deacon, you know, and and John McSweeney, and this guy is one of those guys that made a difference in my life right here, Mr. Saviano. So, we all talked about what he's taught us. He's made us men, he's made us women, he's made us better people.
I made a couple of them.
Well, we got to talk about that one. He's a true gentleman, a great fighter. I haven't seen a man move as fast as this guy ever, and I've trained with the best, including the Grandmaster McSweeney, who, God bless. I had the privilege of having Master McSweeney as my teacher, along with Mr. Saviano, Ray Corda, and Randy Hughes were in the black belt review, and I couldn't have came from a better pedigree. And so I just got to say thank you for everything. You've touched so many lives, and you're a great man. God bless.
First, I want to clear one thing. I'm the best looking guy in the room. How do you judge a man? By the people he keeps, by the company he keeps, and what he does in life. I know everyone in here is great. Why? Because we all came in contact with this man here. Okay? Master John Saviano, I'm happy, elated to have known him for 50 years, and hopefully another 50 years. Another 50. Okay, thank you very much.
Battle-tested warrior healed every time. No matter how tough he is, no matter how bravado comes out, when she says something, it goes, yes, Lord. I never recognize Jesus at the end.
This very, very happy evening for me to be honored to share with every one of you in this room. I never get smart with you guys. The first thing he introduced me is come to my school. And he get all these big guys next to me, and I had to take a picture with them. They carry me up, so I look big. I've been a martial art for a long time. I'm only 29 years old. So. But you know what I got out of this today? I got out of something very, very important today. Martial arts are brothers to me. He's like brother. He's older than me, so he can always pick up me. Last time he tried to kill me was at Thai beef. First thing I got out of the plane and I come to see him, he says, what do you want? I said, I haven't eaten Italian meat for about 8 or 10 years. He said, don't worry. He took me to a place, I can walk out of there because he won't me in.
This is first Portillo's.
But I tell you what though, all of you here, it's probably me the most to a teacher. I taught a lot of students too. And when I get so much appreciation for your teacher, your master, it touches me. I think no matter what industry, nothing more thicker than martial art. Martial art become brother, father.
That's going to be tough to follow Grandmaster Ty. He really expressed the feelings that I'm having, that how much from the heart everybody who's got up here spoke, and how the bond of the family that this gentleman has created. I was curious about one thing earlier. I think you mentioned about his wife, and a bunch of other women applauded.
You gotta get killed.
Should have applauded. Were you married to a bunch of other women? What the hell was that? I was over there. We were out scratching our heads over it. Why are these other women applauding me? She's the only one that could comment about. Okay, so this turns out this guy and I we were talking a couple years ago, and in '64 I was brown belt in judo, and I'm going to Sensei Chapman's place. That was over on Belmont. Diversity. And I'm studying with Tsuyoshi Miyazaki, the North Japan judo champion. And after judo, I would stop and watch the karate class. It was in a room maybe half this size. Huh? If that, maybe about a quarter, a third of this size. Up to where that window, the wall ends. 64. And Chuck Sahara and Ken Knudsen and Ralph and but Doug Dwyer was the instructor. Yeah, Doug Dwyer was, and so I sit there after judo and watch these guys get beat up. After I got to live in helping on me by Miyazaki, Tsuyoshi Miyazaki came to the United States and just beat everybody, and then he continued to beat me for the I don't know how many years. And so it turns out he was one of the guys getting. Yeah, we found that out just a year or two ago. And then then we became tight again through John McSweeney, around 80. And I had the honor of bringing John in. I had started studying with Dan Anasano. We became friends, and I used to host him since, I don't know what it was. But we had John come in to the school, John McSweeney, and we surprised Dan Anasano because John was Bruce Lee's top student, Dan Anasano's first Kempo instructor. And of course, he was a famous Kempo instructor. And for Ed Parker. And that's how he met Bruce Lee, and that whole Bruce Lee saga came down. And so then, of course, the father of Irish karate, everybody knows that. Not so much people I mean, but your group, everyone here knows it. And and by the way, we were talking earlier about Italians. Fred Degerberg, right? My dad's Swedish. My mother's name is Jessamina Carmelo Johanna Greco Januzzi. My brother and I both turned out with blonde hair and hazel eyes, but I was raised in an all-Italian household. My grandparents on the first floor, my mom and dad, and my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents lived in the back house. I mean, none of them could speak English. My cousins and aunts all lived in the house. My great-grandfather died. Joe Ganji, I wanted to be here, but he had a thing that was set up months ago. I think it was his birthday, or he had to kill somebody tonight or something. It was both. It was a two-for-one. It was a twofer. Yeah. So, anyway, so Joe couldn't be here, and so the three of us and Steve Abate, who couldn't be here either tonight, and we're all broken-hearted. We miss him as much as we do John. Steve, who was a student of John's, and just incredible. How many know Steve Abate? So some people call us the Chicago martial art mafia, bunch of greaseballs. So anyway, it was sad. Everybody is sad that we lost Steve in recent history. But my heart goes out, John. John we were so close, and we used to double date John, and my mother even went out with Dick Skolnick. I don't know and Dick and I used to do security kitty corner to each other on West Street, and I did one joint, he did the other joint. This is going back 40, 45 years. It's going, you know, that's all we got, that's our Dick and I, we both have shape. And June, why am I going, why are you taking me out to Easter, you know? He was great, I love Dick, I miss so much. Anyways, I'll let you guys go, but. You know, he had a roll, he ran a roll of hundreds, so you'd go out there, he'd throw a roll of hundreds on the street like that. Man, I'm sorry, did you drop this? A roll of hundreds like that. Give me that money. So, that was it. This man over here, we're cleaning this man, because I'll step over the people in line at a coffee shop. Did you step back the man, please? They just cleaned this here. Yeah, all these people. I'm like for coffee at Starbucks. People at the Starbucks do a little stick, you know. And I dropped him off at a doctor that when he died, he thought he pulled his back, and I had somebody work on him. Dropped him off at a medical clinic on Rush, and then he died a couple days later.
Grandmaster Saviano, congratulations on your 50th year in martial arts. You've been on a long, long road. It's been a great road. Again, it's the adventure that counts. Congratulations on your 50th year once again. I remember back, being with me back in Edison, I believe it was 1974, 75. So again, congratulations on your outstanding school, your students, and everything you have accomplished. As a martial artist, you're one of the best out there. And as usual, you're not going to pick on you. You know, one thing I do is do your low kimono kata, have fun, and don't forget, always look forward, get better, have an outstanding life, have an outstanding career, because you're not done yet, Gumbar. You have to keep going and going until, you know, we go out to that big, great dojo in the sky. As usual, you know, you've been like my brother, my older brother, my senior brothers, always respected everything you've done, respected your students. You've given me great support, and this means a lot to me. There's someone I can talk to at any time, at any given point. With all due respect, congratulations on your 50th year. Let's have many, many more. And enjoy today. Today, I'm sorry I cannot be there today, but it's my birthday party. But anyways, we have our Black Belt outing today. So if you want to come out. You know, the day's long. We'll be there until the birds come up. So as usual, there's a lot of things we could say. I'm at a loss for word. 50 years, a long time in martial arts. You know, we always have our discussions at lunchtime. We have great lunches. You know, we always say how people take 5 classes, think they're black belts, and they stop and go on. We cannot worry about that. What we do have to do is give respect and love to our own. This is where all the martial arts industry that's out there and all the hoopla. It's been a great honor having you as a martial arts friend, but it's been great having you as a family friend. So with that and that in mind, congratulations, enjoy your day, have a great time. Don't forget, I'll be alone, I'll always love you. And
life took a turn and I had to leave for about 10 years. I came back in 2000 along with my son Brandon, who trained for a while. Now my stepsons David and Douglas both train. So it's a family thing we do. I've been able to help teach the juniors and the teen classes. And a lot of times on Saturdays after classes, we'll sit down with Mr. Saab and we'll talk. And he'll share stories, as we all know, he has a lot of stories. One story 2 months ago happened to me, where he told a story of how when he and his wife Teresa were looking for their first home, I believe it was, along with his father. And they found a house that they really liked. And they thought this was the house. And his father pulled a marble out of his pocket, put it on the table, and the marble began to roll. And his father said, no, you can't buy this house. This is the house, but it has everything we want, everything to start a family. It has the room we need. He says, no, the floors are uneven, you can't buy this house. And I believe if he had bought that house, where would we all be? We wouldn't be.
So along I've been trying to get someone on this phone. Yeah, options, nothing. That special person wanted to talk to you tonight. Unfortunately, where he's at, he can't be, the cell phone can't get to it. So I will try. I will way to say what he really wants to say. This is, yeah, Richie, Steve Richie talking. His application, he felt so bad, he was almost crying on the phone because he said, of all the times I have to be on vacation, he's got Berwyn. I know. Yeah, okay. But he's got the sand in Berwyn, you know? No, seriously, he did want to. Oh, he did? Okay, but he wanted me to give him something because he couldn't be here, so he said, would you make up something for me? Oh, no, this is legit. He went on vacation, but when he didn't tell you, it's a religious retreat. He's very devout, whatever he says. He had me make this up with the special number he went to. I'm going to read it. Okay, it says, sorry, Master Saab, that I couldn't be with you on your special day. I had to go on a planned religious retreat. Congratulations on celebrating 50 years in the martial arts.
A nun in a miniskirt.
Everybody was serious. They came up here, they were very serious about all this stuff. At one time, a long time ago, when you had another anniversary, we went, well, it was Truffle Grove, we were all down there, right? A long time ago. So, what I did, I found when we went to China, it was Benjamin Neckerberg. Okay? Little known fact about Benjamin Neckerberg. Gentleman here will sign it, Master John here will sign it also. But I only have something here to go to this. It's just something for the wall. The rest of this, this is nowhere near what all this is all about. Okay? So